All right, all right, all right.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
We want to thank everyone for tuning in to the King and I Life podcast. This is Son Soul Lex, and I'm joined by the King himself.
So, Touch of the Poet in the house.
Tonight, Phoenix wasn't able to make it here. She actually was called away at the very last minute. So I'm sure she's going to be with us in spirit. So just keep tuning in and she will be joining us.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Before we get started tonight, though, we want to make all of our listeners aware that we are now on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, Overcast, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Castbox, Instagram, and coming soon to Patreon. We're also on Facebook, YouTube, and last but not least, my personal favorite, you can also reach us, send an email, comment, encouragement of positive words. I always love those, to the King and I, EYE 369 at gmail.com. Again, that is King and I 369 at gmail.com.
And you can always drop us a voice message on Anchor.
Yes, sir.
Trying to tell you, we waiting to hear from y'all. We definitely waiting to hear from y'all. Yeah, waiting to hear from y'all. We've been getting a little bit of feedback, but we definitely looking for more. So that we can engage with y'all, and definitely for when we go live, we can invite some of y'all in on the festivities, as we say.
So please tune in with us on that live, though. We are really excited about that, bringing that show to you and being able to interact with everyone. So again, please, when we go live, please chime in. We would love that.
Please, please, please.
All right, tonight, our topic, ladies and gentlemen, is called Life Reflections.
Life Reflections.
Yes, sir.
Let's reflect. All right, let's get in. Let's get in.
All right, our first point is going to be, what do you feel the real meaning of life is? And I'll let you take that one, King.
Woo! Real meaning of life. Oh man, that's a as simple as that question is, it's a little not hard. It's kind of broad. And it's hard. Well, it's kind of hard to answer, but
right.
I would say the meaning of life is to accomplish everything that you can within your means, in the time that you have, and those things that you can accomplish, just throw it to the side and push forward, because life is short. And I believe that your goal is to live it to its fullest, and definitely enjoy the fruits of whatever it is. And in most cases, obstacles and roadblocks, a lot of them are temporary, although when most of us are going through them, they don't seem temporary. But you have to, one thing that you have to realize in the meaning of life is, we go through stuff from the day that we first realize that we're going through something. And when we think of life in the bigger picture, we have to realize that we've generally overcome damn near every roadblock that's been put in front of us. And we have to keep that in the forefront of our minds, because if we don't, we're constantly reevaluating what life is, what the meaning of life is, instead of just living life. And that's pretty much my brief definition on that.
Right. Me myself, I think the meaning of life for me, I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, I think it is to again, like you said, live it to the fullest. I think we're only here, of course, for a certain amount of time. So I think we should learn as much as we can about this plane that we're on, or not only about the earth itself, uh, or, but for me about yourself.
Right.
Because I'm the type, I believe that, some people say you only live once. I'm not sure if I agree with that, but I think that the time that you do have here, you're supposed to learn as much as you can about yourself. And I think you're supposed to give back to the earth. I mean, give back to the people around you, give back to, your environment. I think everyone in some shape, form, or fashion, they're here to be a ray of light. Um, some may disagree with me because they know a lot of people who aren't who aren't so nice, but at the end of the day, you have to remember that that person is still someone's child. When
Yeah.
they were young, they put a smile on someone's face to some degree. So I definitely feel like, while you're here, enjoy everything around yourself, but don't forget to enjoy yourself as well.
Right. That's true. That's very true. Very true. Very true.
So our next topic is who do you think that played the biggest role in your life shaping?
Mm. Um, Let me see. Wow. I guess that would depend on what part or what period of life you're talking about. When I think of who played a big one of the biggest roles in my life, I have to definitely from the bottom of my heart, the first person that comes to mind is one of my drill sergeants, which is a retired command sergeant major now, but Roger L. Parker Jr. Um, One of his mottos that I still use to this day, and mind you, he said this back in '91. Um, no task too great, and you know that has always stuck in my mind because we all go through obstacles. We all go through them, and he was such a motivating person that um he he just embodied success. He embodied triumph. He embodied so many things
Right.
that I can honestly say he is one person that that he is one of the main reasons why I'm still in now. Because it's been a lot of times when I was like, man, the hell with this, I'm done. Um, you know, a lot of tears, a lot of anguish, stress, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But when I sit back and I hear his voice, no task too great, um, it keeps me pushing. Because I remember back in basic training, we was doing these road marches, ruck marches, or whatever the case may be, down to Fort McClellan, Alabama, and we had these I don't know if I want to call them mountains or hills, but
Uh-huh.
it was baby banes and big banes. And when I tell you they were steep, brother, brother, I mean, they were steep to where, I mean, I'm probably exaggerating, but at that time when we was going up those, they was
Right.
probably steep to where you could lean a little bit and touch the ground and like you climbing up a mountain. But his voice, no task too great. You better get up here. And it was like, I'm getting up there. I'm getting up there. I'm getting up there. So that is the first person that I would like to say was a played a big role in my life.
Cool. Um, I have so many people, man. It's kind of like up against, standing on a podium about to accept award. But I would say my mom and my dad were my first two.
Hmm.
People that actually played the biggest role in my life, you know. And I guess everybody could say that to a certain degree. Um, I don't know. It's like my mom. She always kept me grounded. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
and you have to forgive me for getting choked up because my mom passed away a couple of years ago. But um, she always kept me grounded. Always knew what to say to help me get through shit. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
So that and my dad always being the biggest foot in my ass, I guess you can say. Always, you know, showing that tough love, and you know, he always was or always is the type that he just let me grow as a person. You know what I'm saying? He just, if he see me get out there too far, as far as like maybe making a wrong decision or going in the wrong direction, then that's when he would, you know, kind of reach out and grab me and pull me back in and say, "Hey, let's start over. You're going in the wrong direction."
Hmm.
So then I have to say my mother's mother,
Hmm.
she definitely played a big role in teaching me how to be um, kind, understanding, having sympathy and empathy for other people.
Hmm.
Uh, and then I would say my dad's grandmother's sister who raised him, but
Right.
she taught me the importance of um, respecting Earth, Mother Earth, as she would say,
Hmm.
and you know, just respecting nature itself and having an appreciation for it.
Right.
Um, then I would have to say my grandmother's first husband, who was not my natural grandfather, but he played that role and he taught me so much as far as like being in the streets to to a certain degree.
Hmm.
Again, he just taught me the game when I wasn't even understanding what it was he was teaching me. But you know, as I got older and started grasping it a little bit more, uh, I got to thank him. Um, I would also have to say my my uncle, my two uncles that stand out the most on my father's side was my uncle Donald, or is my uncle Donald, and my uncle Sonamain, which is Clarence Prim. Oh man, my uncle Clarence, man, that dude taught me so much about life and about women and how to handle certain situations, man. Cause my uncle was
Oh
that
man.
dude. Like, really, when I tell you he was that dude, he was that dude that
Right,
everybody
right.
looked up to or wanted to be like. And man, there was just so much he did for me, man. Just talking with me and helping shape me, you know, helping
Hmm.
me to understand, you know, again, things about life and how to handle certain situations, how to conduct myself as a man.
Right.
And then I had to say my other uncle, again, my father's other brother, um, my uncle Donald.
Hmm.
That dude has always been that guy for me. Um, always that encouraging word, always saying, you know, when things look crazy for me, he was like, man, just keep your head up, you know, just, yeah, I know things look kind of rough right now and look real crazy for you,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
just keep your head up. And um, always that encouraging word. So there's been quite a few people that helped shape my life. And I think I'm all still here to this day. I mean, my father, hell, I'm 46 years old. Um, and he's still teaching me.
Right, right.
So on to that.
Well, well,
Uh,
shoot, you went down your whole family tree, and I just
yeah,
did
man.
one
Yeah.
person. So let me throw a few more in there. So
All right, go
as
ahead. Go
far as
ahead.
family, I would have to say my three kids. They play very big roles in my life, and I say that because it's because of them. Another reason why I don't give up. It's another reason why I keep pushing forward. It's another reason why I keep um, engaging in different things, because I want them to see that a lot of things that you want to do are typically within your grasp. Um, and even though my oldest, he's not, doing everything that I would like him to do, or
Right.
the better way I could put it is not living up to his best potential. Um, I look at his situations that he go through, and I look at that and be like, I don't want to go through that. So because I don't want to go through that, I say I'm going to do this, and everything that I'm doing, he can visually see, and maybe he'll be like, you know, hey, it ain't that hard, Um, who else can I say? I will definitely say also all of my family members that been in the military. My mother, um, my younger sister, my older sister's mother. Um, my father was in. Um, I have so many family members that are in, and I will also say, other than my former drill sergeant, another reason why I've stayed in is because I've always wanted to get further than what they did in the military,
Right.
accomplish more things. And it's not I'm better than you. It's like when someone in your family sets a benchmark, you as the one coming behind them, hey, you set the benchmark for me to reach and exceed past.
Right.
So when my mother retired from the army, she was an E5. Right now, I'm an E7. So I look at that. Okay, you got there. It's my job to take that baton from you and take it further.
Right.
Um, and that's another reason why, you know, um, I still do things to try to motivate my son, because it's like I got here. I want to give this baton so that you can go further. Um, I do have a few uncles, and one in particular, Floyd Holmes. That was my mother's ex-husband's brother. Um, he imparted a lot of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the funniest word that not it's not a funny word, but at the time it was a funny word because the way I heard him say it, it was not the way that that word was meant. Like he talked about pleasantries.
Right.
Um, so at the age when he was saying, I think I was maybe around, I want to say 13, 14, 15, maybe somewhere around there.
Mm.
When he used the word, he asked me what pleasantries were, and I was like, yeah, yeah. But in my brain he was saying two words: pleasant trees. So, so, so I'm thinking like he talking about some nice trees. It That's not what he was talking about. He was really spitting some game to me,
Right.
and all over my head. So I definitely give a shout out to him. Um, who else? Oh, my sister's grandmother, Arletha Bolge. She passed away a few years ago. That woman, um, oh man, she was a woman's woman.
Right.
She was a true matriarch. She was life. She was uh I don't know. I can't even put enough words into the type of person that she was. Um, she was about 6 feet tall. Uh, very humorous, very
Mm.
quick-witted, very sharp tongue. I mean, she was no nonsense, man. And and
Right.
and, and if you messed with her, she let you know. She would let you know, man. But yeah, truly, truly, truly miss her. Yeah, yeah, man. That's what I have as far as family though.
Uh, I have to say, teachers though, whew, I had a couple of professors. No, I'll take that back. I had a few professors in college, man. Um, One in particular, I cannot remember her name, but she is this white lady. She said, "I'm going to teach you how to think," and that's the thing that really stuck out in my mind when I went in her class. She said, "I'm going to teach you how
Mm.
to think," and I'm like, "What the you mean teach me how to think? I already know how to think." But she
Oh
really
man.
taught me how to don't accept what society is telling you. Don't accept what the news is telling you. Hell, don't
Mm.
even accept what uh, a close friend is telling you. You do your own research.
Right.
And through her teaching me that, I was like, wow, now I get it.
Mm.
This is how you're teaching me how to think.
Mm.
But I'll say another professor I had was my law professor. Um, I can't think his name is right on the tip of my tongue, but he is a small guy. I mean, he is kind of like a damn Spud Webb size, you know what I
Mm.
mean? But man, he was a lawyer and a college professor. And when I tell you to be such a small person, when he walked in the room, he just everything and everyone in that room gravitated towards him. He just
Mm.
had that kind of a energy about him.
Right.
And anyway, he just taught me a lot about law and how to think outside the lines and how to read in between the lines and things of that nature. And I had
Mm.
one more, Mr. Castle. There's
From
another college.
Manheim?
Uh-uh.
Oh.
No, no, no. This is a college professor.
Oh, okay.
He just really taught me about putting your hands to stuff. It's like it's not enough to put your mind and your
Mm-hmm.
spirit to things. Put your hands on it. If you don't put
Mm.
your hands on it, you're not gonna make anything happen.
Mm.
So those are just a few of the teachers I had that actually really helped shape me as a person. And I thank them.
Mm. Teachers. Wow. I don't know, man. Uh, I mean, I have a few teachers, but I just don't really remember what teachers played a big role in my life. Um, wow. I mean, from high school, I can probably say Coach Andrews. Um, he was a track coach. Um, yeah, that guy. That guy. Um, I hated hurdles. I hated hurdles. Um, and my first year running track, that joker had me doing the 300 hurdles. I was like, no, I don't want to, but he got me through them hurdles. No pun intended. um, Let me see. I guess I can say, wow, D. Laughlin, the band teacher. I couldn't play a trumpet to save my damn life.
I
Um,
remember her. She was
yeah, she.
wow. You remember her name?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, because she was. I took band from I want to say the 8th grade to the 10th grade. I had
Mhm.
her from band, and yeah, played the trumpet. She always sat there with that damn guitar, boy.
Oh yeah, she was always on that guitar, man.
Oh man, and
She was a good teacher though.
yeah,
Definitely a
yeah,
good teacher.
definitely. She used to laugh at me though because when we was doing whatever exercises, every time we got to line 9, I used to always say Ryan mine. And she would laugh at me, man. She would laugh at me. Um, yeah. But other than that, yeah, I think that's all the school teachers.
Mhm.
I've had, instructors in the army. Um, but yeah, that's about it as far as teachers for me.
Oh, cool. All right. So, um, did you have anyone that you looked up to, slash, did you know them personally, or were they someone who was a celebrity that actually influenced your life? Like when we were growing up, I know everybody wanted to be like Mike.
I ain't never want to be like Mike. Never. And it's no taking away from Mike or anybody that want to be like Mike. It's just
Right.
that um the first time I ever really played basketball to play basketball correctly,
Right.
I went out for the basketball team my sophomore or junior year in high school. Let me tell you, I couldn't dribble. It, I ain't know what the hell a layup was. Couldn't do a damn layup. So yeah, I ain't want to be like Mike, but, but Carl Lewis, yeah,
Yes. Oh my goodness. That was one
yeah,
of my childhood heroes right there.
yes. I wanted to be like Carl Lewis. Who else? Eddie Murphy. Uh,
True that. True that.
um, yeah, I wanted to be funny and charismatic like Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Um,
I
I
even
ain't as
had that
funny.
laugh.
I ain't as funny, but I got that little charisma going on. So got that. Who else? Who else? Who else? Hmm. You know what? Even in my age, I'll even throw Barack Obama in there because um regardless of anybody's opinion of him, good, bad, or indifferent, he showed that we can get to places if we really put effort forward. And that's not to take away from anybody that came before him. It's
Right.
just that he is that one in my lifetime that I've actually seen do it. So that's why I would mention him before I would mention anybody else. Um, yeah, those are my celebrity picks right there.
Cool. I would say I can't say I really want to be like anyone. As far as celebrities, I would say that there are a few of them that I admire, though. I would say, and just from a business standpoint, really, I would say Jay Z was definitely one of the guys I looked up to. You know, once I discovered his music, I would say 50 Cent. Uh, Still love his earlier stuff,
Hmm.
and his later stuff is just not there like it used to be. But anyway, um, his business prowess is amazing to me, and I admire that about him. But anyone other than that, celebrity wise, um, I can't think of anyone. I really can't. Um, Only person I really wanted to be like was my dad, though.
Hmm.
And I just felt like if I could be as half as good as this dude is, just half, then I know my life is set.
Mm.
So, um, other than that, there's no one else, man. No
Mm.
one else.
Okay.
All right.
So, uh, what would you change, if anything, about your life?
Mm. Ooh. Ooh. I might have to break out the counseling sofa for that one.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Um,
before we even dive into that,
All right, go ahead.
the crazy thing about that question, period, is I know for me, and I think for a lot of people, um, we constantly say, if I could go back, I would do this, I would do that, I would do this, I would do that. But then on the other hand, you think, well, if I change this, well, maybe I wouldn't accomplish this, or maybe I wouldn't have failed at that and learned a lesson, or maybe I wouldn't have, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, but there's some things I would change.
I would say, as far as if I had to narrow it down to one thing and one thing only,
Mhm.
I would say all the damn money I spent on women. Oh my goodness, boy, I would be balling like goddamn
Mm.
Chris Brown right now. But
Wow.
um, that
Wow,
is
wow, wow.
the biggest regret as far as like anything in life I would change. I would probably take more of my uncle's advice and not spend my money like that.
Right. Yeah.
But that's it. I would say that's the one thing.
Wow. Um, I would say for me, if I could change anything about my life, I would change certain parts of my high school years. Only because I did not necessarily strive to be a scholar. Um, I was satisfied with just passing my classes. Um, Unless it was a class that I really enjoyed, like English, social studies, history, um, gym, health. Um, but as far as like math and foreign languages,
Yeah.
I throw middle fingers at them jokers, man. Like big middle fingers at those jokers. Like, yeah.
Wow.
Like I have my high school transcript, and my middle school and high school transcript. So we
Mhm.
talking, I'm talking about Germany years from 87 to 91. I pull
Mhm.
them jokers out every now and then, and I look at that and be like, whoa.
Look at me now.
Yeah. I would change that. I would change, um, the one thing I always tell people all the time, if I could go
Mhm.
back, I would have stayed active duty 20 years. That is the one thing that I can say that I personally regret, because I would have retired in 2011. Yeah. Yeah, I would have retired in 2011.
Wow.
Um, but yet here I am, 2020, still in.
Mhm.
Um, and I would change that because being active duty is so much different from being in the National Guard, and it's like it. Yeah, I would have stayed active duty. Um, the only other thing that, and another thing that I would change is um, being more financially literate.
Right.
Um, because back then, I mean, I didn't have that 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 background. I wasn't taught that in the house. I wasn't taught how to save money. I wasn't taught, nothing about stocks. I wasn't taught a lot of things. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I had a few people on active duty who mentioned stuff like that, but it wasn't to the point where they would say, "Hey, you need to do this, that, and the other." So I would change that. Yeah, those are, you know, some of the things that I would change. Only other thing I would change is
Mhm.
not stay in Maryland as long as I have. 'Cause I got to this joker in 95 when I got off active duty, and I
Uh-huh.
said, I ain't staying here. I ain't staying here. And here it is, 2020, and I'm still here.
Wow.
Still here. But yeah.
Man. Yeah, I definitely feel you on that school. School call. Man, what the crazy part about that though is for me is all through school up until my senior year, uh, I just did just enough to get by. I'll
Mhm.
be completely and totally honest with
Yeah.
you. Um, but my senior year is when we finally moved back to Alabama,
Hmm.
and they told us, in order to get your diploma, you gotta pass this graduation exam. I'm like, what
Wee.
the? Are you serious? They're like, otherwise, you just gonna get a certificate of attendance. And I'm like, man,
Wow.
so you mean to tell me I done did all this goddamn work and based upon uh
The
only two
different
tries?
curriculum.
Yeah, I only get two tries when everyone here who's lived
Oh,
here
wow.
all this time, they get three tries.
Mm,
Um, but anyway, I studied my behind off, going into school early, leaving school late, and I
mm,
passed the first one with only one section, and then the second time I passed the other two sections. There were three sections at that time,
right.
but that right there taught me the value of, you know what, if you apply yourself, you might discover you're a little bit smarter than what you think you are. So
Imagine that.
yeah, and it's crazy because from that
Imagine
day
that.
forth, after I passed that exam, through all of my college courses and other ventures where I was actually taking something to learn something,
Hmm.
I think the lowest grade I got all that time was 1C.
Mm,
And that was
wow.
because my teacher was but I ain't gonna
Mm.
say nothing about her. She was an awful teacher. But
We
anyway,
always we always blame it on the teacher.
it was her fault, man. It was her fault. God damn, I
Oh
sent out the
man.
email all late, and then when I discovered it, it's too late to damn turn in the work.
Mm.
Oh man. But anyway, I fought like hell to get that grade changed, and a damn dean, she was another not nice person, so
Mm.
she refused to change the damn grade. But
Wow.
anyway, it just proved to me at that point that, just take your time, study, read, actually learn this shit. You might be surprised how smart you really are.
Yeah.
But overall, I would have to say, as far as like my life reflections, I'm very grateful for the situation I'm in now. I mean, I have a family that loves me. I have friends, but really brothers and sisters. Um, Financially, I can't complain.
Hmm.
Um, I I'm in good space right now. You know what I mean? I know that
Yeah.
life will constantly give you challenges, but some of those challenges can be avoided if you think your way through them.
Hmm.
So again, life is always going to bring you something. Just you got to know it. Life is always going to bring you something, whether you want it or
Yeah.
not. You just got to.
It's always gonna bring you something.
Uh huh.
It
So
ain't playing with you.
heck no.
I be trying to tell people, look here. Ain't got time for that.
Mm,
Life ain't playing with you.
no, it's not.
It's not playing with you. Either live it or it's gonna live you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's gonna knock you on your behind quite a few times. So that's just
Mm,
something you got to learn and pick
yeah.
yourself up and keep going.
Definitely. I got to give a shout out to my uncle Kevin Alexander because where I'm working at now, at the time in 2006, yeah, 2006, um, I was working at Baltimore City Health Department. Um, I was a storekeeper, and my job was delivering first aid supplies to all the schools in Baltimore City. Um, so he had came up one day, and we was talking. He was like, "How much you make at your job?" I was like, "I make 25,000 a year." He looked at me. He was like, "That's not enough." And that's the way he says, he's like, "Nah, that's not enough." And
Wow.
so he was like, "You need to apply where I'm at, Department NG doing security." So I was like, all right. So at that time I had got my credit. My credit was, decent coming from a, messed up place.
Right.
Um Applied, got the job, and started making what I think I was making 17, $18 an hour at that time when I first started it, something like that.
Oh
But
wow.
that was money. Um,
Heck yeah.
Going from 25,000 a year, and at that and then at that around that time, I was sometimes working three jobs. Um, but yeah, got down there, and I've been down there since then. And um, you know, I haven't looked back, and I'm gonna tell you now, and I thank him for that because literally back then I would be at a job for maybe 2 3 years, no more than 5 years, and
Hmm.
I'm off to the next thing, looking for that bigger paycheck.
Right.
But got down there, and you, at any place you get frustrated, tired of routine or whatever. But um, I must say that that job has made me stable, and I thank him for that because he put me in. You can't lead a horse. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Right.
He led me to the water, and I'm still drinking it. Um, I am still drinking that water. I've had so many opportunities since I've been there. Um, you know, and a lot of the time I was sitting there, I was like, I'm just going to sit here, ride this out. If I want to make more money, I could do me some overtime and knock the door down. Um, but supervisor for a short time, I ain't like that because I ain't want to work night shifts because I told myself after I worked night shift at the Gap warehouse, I
Mhm.
was like, I will never, ever, 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 ever work night shift again unless I literally have no choice. Um, but then last year I took another position and that was a bump in pay. And now I got an office. I wear a tie to work, and first time ever in my entire life, I got an office and I can wear some clothes to work, no uniform. So I thank him for that. And then when I was still doing security, I would have to say, um, those younger cats,
Uh-huh.
that I've seen a lot of people come and go, but
Right.
I think the um as far as roles in my life, it was times I'm like, man, the hell with this. But I look at these young cats coming in 22, 23, 24, 25, early 20s or whatever, and me in my 40s. Dude, you coming in here making $80,000,
Damn.
70, $80,000 to eight in your early 20s. And if you and
Yeah.
if you really grind with overtime or whatever, you can beat down 100,000
Wow.
doing security. So
Dang.
so when I look at that, you know what? If this young dude can do it, I can still do it.
Okay.
Um, but as always, you always look for other things. But when you look at, hey, I'm looking at the landscape. You know what? That joker ain't doing nothing with his life. This joker just don't care. And it's like, you're a role model. You don't care. You ain't doing nothing. I'm gonna stay over here and do something and accomplish goals. And me accomplishing my goals, I can say, hey, you know what? Maybe I can, be a motivator to somebody else.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, man.
Well, we want to thank everyone for tuning in once again with the King and I Life podcast.
Yes, 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 yes.
We just wanted to bring up this topic in particular because I think sometimes people they forget to stop and just look around and smell the roses, as they say, and
Yeah.
reflect a little bit on your life and the people who have helped you along the way. Um, I remember one time I was heading from work and something hit me. And I was thinking about all the things my mom taught me as I was growing up. And I just had to call her and tell her, say, Mom, I really appreciate everything you did for me. All the lessons you taught me, all the times that me and you may not have agreed upon certain things. Even all the times you whooped my ass, I appreciate that because I see what you were trying to teach me at that particular time. I didn't get it then, but I damn sure as hell get it now.
Right.
So that was one of those conversations where she was like, I know you didn't get it then. I'm glad you got it now. And I appreciate you calling me and telling me. So I say all that to say this to our listeners, to our viewers. If someone helped you in your life, whether it be help put you in a financial place, a better financial place, or someone who just taught you how to tie your shoelaces better, call that person up and let them know, thank you. Thank you for everything you did for me. Because that lesson that you taught me has propelled me into a way better position in my life than what I may have been.
And another thing, and while you're saying that, there are people out there who influence other people who have influenced me passively, and it's no need in thanking them because they might take it as disrespect. But when you are around certain people and they do certain things and they have a certain outcome, and it may be something that you want to do, you were going to do, or that situation may be right in front of you, and you can look at that person that went through it and had a bad outcome and be like, you know what, man, I remember how that person had that come up, and you know what? Thank you for your experience. I'll learn from you. I don't have to learn on my own.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah, and that's a big takeaway in life. And we all have those moments where we interact with people or we see something and it puts a bite on us, like, yeah, you know what, you was thinking about doing that, or now you don't have to think about doing that because you see what the possible outcome could be, even though you may think, yeah, oh, well, that happened to that person. You know what? Yeah, that happened to that person. The likelihood of it happening to you may be a little high. So you might want to rethink that and not do that. So shout out to all those people who teach people lessons from that, and people who learn from people like that.
For sure.
But yeah, with that, I think that's all we have.
All right, I'm gonna run this down for the people one more time.
One more again, as they say in the South.
Yes, sir. So again, you guys find us, and ladies can find us on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, Overcast, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Castbox, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Coming soon. Again, coming soon. Patreon, sorry. I'm thinking too hard, but Patreon, we're definitely coming to Patreon. And again, if you guys would please drop us a line at kingandIEYE369@gmail.com. Again, that's kingandI369@gmail.com.
There it is.
That's it.
And there it is. And we out of here.